Hello, it's Paige, and today we are going to be drawing kind of an English countryside. Now, if you look at your neighborhood might not look exactly like this one. This one has a tree leaning over a river, and the house is on a hill. It's just a beautiful countryside, and I love to take pictures. Now, this is a place I would probably want to visit and take a lot of pictures in. And so that's what we're going to be drawing today. Okay. This one has a lot of elements to it. A lot of elements, meaning it has a lot of different things in it. It has a bridge, and it has a river, and a house, and a tree, and a hill. So there's a lot to draw. So you're going to have to pay real close attention in following what I'm doing. All right. But we're going to have a lot of fun. So we're going to start with our tree. Our tree is kind of coming out of the side of the paper here, and it's going up and shooting up all the way to the top of the paper. So how we're going to start is we're going to come to the side here and do a diagonal line up. We're going to do kind of a short diagonal line up. And we're going to add a branch coming out of it. It's just two lines coming out of it. And those two lines are going to split just like this into almost a V. And do a V on the inside of it. Perfect. Now, on top of that branch, we're going to add some leaves. It's a bunch of leaves right here. You can make it as weird a shape as you want, or as circular as what you want, whatever works for you. We're going to continue this line coming up and diagonal. Don't go through your leaves. Your leaves are in front. We're going to add another branch. Two lines coming up, just like that. Now this one we're going to split into two again. We're going to go out like this and out like that. Two diagonal lines coming out. And this time we're going to add a V over here and another V over here. So we're going two lines up, splitting them, and then adding two V's on the inside. Perfect. And then we're going to continue these two lines going up and split them just like we did the first time. And add a V on the inside. Perfect. There's another branch. And then also we're going to continue this arm right here, this branch, by putting two lines bent. It looks almost like an elbow. Perfect. There's our other branch. Now we're going to add a bunch of leaves, which is just going to be like clouds almost. We're adding clouds to our tree. Bunch of leaves, just like that. Perfect. You can add some texture to those leaves if you want to make them look like leaves. Just like that. Awesome. We're going to continue our line coming up. And then we're going to go out. Two lines. And continue it going up. Perfect. So there's one side of our tree. Now to do the other side of our tree. So for the bottom of our tree, trees have roots. Roots go into the ground and they plant themselves into the ground. That's what keeps the tree upright. That's how this tree can be diagonal. That's how it can stay and not fall over. It has roots in the ground. So we're going to draw those roots. They're just going to be kind of like fangs, like they're points in the ground. Just like that. I did kind of up and downs. Just like that to make some roots. Perfect. Now I'm going to keep going with our tree, and I'm going to follow the diagonal line type structure that I had earlier. So I'm going to go up, and I'm going to go up a little bit past my first branch on the left side. So I went a little bit past, and I'm going to do two lines coming out. And I'm going to split that line. just like we've been doing. We're going 2 lines and then making them go opposite directions from each other and adding a V in the middle. This one's almost a greater than sign because it's sideways. This little part, our bush, is going to go kind of into our tree here. So it's a big part of the tree. It's a big leafy part. Just like that. It's almost like an L shape. Just like that. Perfect. And then we're going to continue our line. Remember, those leaves are in the front of our tree, so we're going to just keep going. We're going to skip over it and keep going. And then again, we're going a little bit past the branch on the left, going 2 lines out. This one's not going to split into multiple branches. It's just going to be one branch. And then we're going to add a tree, a bunch of leaves over here. Make it whatever shape you want. I'm going to do that. Perfect. And then I'm going to continue my line coming all the way up, all the way to the top of the paper. And add some texture in there if you want to make them look like leaves. Perfect. So there's our tree. There's our first part of the drawing. Our tree is going to be on top of a hill. It's on kind of a hillside. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw the hill behind our tree because our tree is on a hill. So it's going to be diagonal lines coming down like this. Don't go all the way down because then we're going to draw part of the water. So we're going diagonally right and then diagonally left. Perfect. So there's our hill. What we're going to do next is our other side of the paper, which is the hill that our house is sitting on. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw another diagonal line going right on this side of the paper. Then we're going to go up, and then we're going to do kind of a hillside where it goes a curve. It's a wave almost. It goes up, down, up. That's what our house is sitting on. Now, when you look in the ground, you have grass and you have dirt and you have kind of another layer of dirt. The ground, when you stand on it, it's more than just grass. You have multiple layers. You'll learn about this later when you look at geography and geology and you look into the ground. So what we're doing is we're adding layers to the earth. We're going to add a squiggly line here for our grass. Perfect. And add another squiggly line here for the dirt. And another one for maybe like the wet dirt. It's multi-layered. Our earth has some textures on it. So remember, we have a squiggly line for our grass and then 2 more for our layers of dirt. Perfect. Okay. Now there's some bushes on our hillside. We're going to add 1 bush. It almost looks like a hand, like I drew a hand with a bunch of fingers on it. 1 bush. We're going to do another bush right behind it, like that. We're going to add 2 more bushes. We're going to do 1 here and 1 here right behind it. Perfect, there's our bushes. For our house, you're going to draw 2 lines coming out from behind the bushes, just like this. Coming up to an equal height. Put a roof on them. You're going to add a roof to it. And to make it look 3D, what you do is you add your roof coming out sideways like this. That's what makes a roof. So what I did was I drew almost our part triangle over the 2 lines to make a roof. And then I added my horizontal lines across those to make it look more 3D to make it look realistic. I'm going to add a door in between my bushes, which is just a big rectangle like that. And I'll add a window, which is just a square to the right of it. If you want to add another window up top, go for it. I did a circle, and maybe I'll put a cross in there to look like some window panes. Maybe I'll put a cross in here too to look like windows. Perfect. On our hillside with our house, we also have some trees. Now these trees don't look like this big old tree here. They almost look like Christmas trees. So how we're going to do it is we're going to start kind of at top here, and we're going to come down with some, ziggy-zaggy lines. And we're going to do that same thing on the other side. Ziggy-zaggy lines going behind our house so we don't see it behind our house. And we're going to do the same thing, but this second tree is going to be behind our first tree, so we don't see that side. And it's behind our house too, so we don't see the rest of it. There's 2 trees. Perfect. If you want to add some more ziggy-zaggies to those trees, go for it, to make them look like trees. All right. So what we're going to do next is our bridge. Our bridge has 2 little ways you can go in. Like if you're going on a boat, you can go under the bridge in a boat. It has like waterways where you can go through the bridge. 2 arches. All right, so what we're going to do is, you see how this side is a little bit higher than this side? I'm going to do my bridge starting here, and I'll just go across like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an arch coming up like this, and then do a line going across, and do another arch coming up that's almost the same size. Try and make them as equal as you can. Perfect. There's our bridge. And those are only the bottoms of our bridge. It'd look silly if we left it like that, so we have to put the top of the bridge also. What we're going to do is we're just going to do a straight line coming across from our tree to our bushes here. And we'll do it on the other side of our tree also. On top of our bridge, we have almost a fence. There's like a rope fence that goes across it. So how we do our rope fence is we're going to do a bunch of poles, a bunch of pillars. So I'm just doing a bunch of spread apart mini little arches here to represent the poles that are on top of our bridge. Just like that. In between each of those poles, I'm going to do 2 little smiley faces to represent our ropes. Where we have our ropes fence across our bridge so that it's safe. It's a safe bridge. We don't want people falling off our bridge. We don't want cars falling off our bridge. We have a rope fence on top of it so that keeps people safe. Our bridge also looks like it's built out of stones or bricks, and it looks man-made. So how we're going to make that is we're going to add some more lines to it. We're going to add a horizontal lines. We'll do one going all the way across, and then we'll do one that goes around our arches. Remember, our arches are cut out of the bridge. They're not in the bridge at all. How we made the arches is by cutting those parts out of our bridge. So we're not going to put our lines in those arches. Now in our first stripe here, we're going to add vertical lines. We're going up and down. And we're going to try and make them as equally spaced as we can. Put the same amount of space in between each line. And now for our next stripe here, we're going to make alternating vertical lines. Alternating means that it switches. It means that I'm going to go into the middle of these two and put a line. I'll go into the middle of those and put a line. It's going to be alternating. I'm doing every other one. I'm going in between the space and putting a line. That's kind of what makes it look like a brick. You're going in between them and putting a line. You're going to do the same thing. You're going in between the space and putting a line. Going straight in the middle of it and putting one. Just like that. Going in the middle. In the middle. That's how we get our brick effect. And then keep going. Perfect. That's how we make our bridge. Our next thing to do is draw the water line. We're going to draw the horizon of our water because the ocean doesn't extend forever. We want to make sure that the person who's looking at this can tell that this is a river flowing through. So we're going to draw a line going in the background of our arches. It's going through our arches so that you can tell that there's water behind there. Perfect. Yeah, the river. All right. What's next to do is our clouds. Our clouds are kind of behind our trees there. You see that? Our clouds aren't in front of our trees. So what we're going to do is we're going to start from the side of our tree and come out. They almost look like our bunches of leaves over here. But we're not going to add texture to them. So they look like clouds. And they're also in the sky. And I'm going behind my trees. I'm not going through my trees. And another one up here. It's going off the page a little bit. Perfect. And then for our sun is kind of behind the cloud. So we're going to do part of a circle here going into our cloud. You only draw part of it. And for the rays of sunshine are going to be different lengths. Coming out of my sun, I'm going to do a short one and maybe a really long one. Maybe a really short one and a really long one going behind my cloud. Maybe a little bit longer, really long one, medium one, really long one. And you can do whatever you want to make it look like a sun, but make them different lengths. Perfect. So now that we've drawn it, we can start coloring. This one is a really fun one to color because there's so many elements to our drawing. There's so many parts to our drawing. So what I did is I made the bridge, I made it tan. And you know why? It's because this big tree here is brown. And I wanted to tell my tree different from my bridge. I wanted there to be distinction between my tree and my bridge. I didn't want my tree to be blending into my bridge, so I made my tree brown and I made my bridge a tan color. Same thing over here. I made my roof brown, so I didn't want to make the house brown too. I made the house a different color. And then for our layers of the earth, it's going to get lighter as you go away from the water. If you've ever looked at the ocean, when the water goes over the sand gets darker. So that's kind of how it looks too. The dirt closer to the water is going to be darker. And as you go away from it, it's going to get lighter. And then we have grass here, which is green. Our bushes and our trees are going to be green. Same thing over here. Our grass is going to be green, and our leaves are also going to be green. And what I did was I did different colors of green so that it kind of gave it a different look. You're welcome to use all one green if you want to, but I liked using different colors of green to make it look different. My background is blue, and it's a different color than the water. The water is more turquoise than my background, but if you want to switch them, feel free to. But I made them different colors so you can tell that this is the sky and this is the river. And then my sun is yellow, and I left my clouds white. You don't want a stormy day. You want it to look like a beautiful day. So that's pretty much it. I hope you had a lot of fun drawing our European landscape. I don't know if any of you have been there to Europe, but it is absolutely beautiful, and I hope that you get to go one day. And I'm going to pretend that I'm there taking pictures and having fun. So I'll see you next time. Bye.